everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's Samoa by Sea webinar. We are very excited to have a couple of presenters joining us today all the way from Samoa. If this is your first time on one of our webinars, I just want to remind you that you are on mute throughout the presentation. If you do need to get a hold of us, you can enter a question or get a hold of us through the chat functionality on your login screen. If you have questions at any point during the webinar, please feel free to enter that at any time in the questions box as well. With that, we'll go ahead and get started. And for anyone that is wondering as well, this webinar will be recorded and I'll be following up with that URL. Starting off, how to get to Samoa. So for those of you that may not be familiar, Samoa is located just between Hawaii and New Zealand, so right in the heart of the South Pacific, on the same side of the international date line as Australia and New Zealand. Our airline partners are Virgin Samoa, which flies out of Australia, Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. Of course, Air New Zealand flying through Auckland, and Fiji Airways flying through both Honolulu and through Fiji. So there are a few different options for your clients, whether they're looking to fly straight to Samoa via one of these other gateways or to combine it with one of the other destinations. Currency and visa. Samoa does have its own currency. It's a Samoan tala. As of today, the exchange rate, $1 is about 2.5 Samoan tala, and for the Canadian dollar, it's just at 2. In terms of visas, your clients just need a valid passport, and it is stamped and visa issued on arrival at no additional cost. Samoa itself is made up of 10 islands total, 5 of which are inhabited, but we do focus on the 2 main islands of Savaii and Upolu. You'll see Faleolo International Airport just up to the northwest tip of the island of Upolu, with Apia right on the central north coast. And that is where one of our presenters, Samoana Resort, they're located on the island of Upolu down on the south coast. And Kayleen will be talking to you shortly about her property and everything they can offer your clients, especially in the surf and outdoor arena. And then our other presenter is located on the big island of Savaii, up near where you see number 1. Dive Savaii is just across the road from Leilangota. You may be familiar with that property. It is one of our deluxe properties on the island. So we will be focusing on the 2 main islands today. Just to give you a bit of a background on what there is to do in Samoa around the islands, of course, being a island destination, clients will want to spend time at the beach and in the water, and Samoa is a great place to do that. Snorkeling gear is included with most stays at the deluxe properties or very easily accessible to rent out for the day. Highly recommend it as the water is very clear and calm, perfect snorkeling conditions from the majority of their resorts. Great lagoons to swim in as well, especially for children that aren't strong swimmers or elderly clients. Another great option around the islands is kayaking. So heading out, a bit more of adventure, heading out toward the reefs and different parts of the island via kayak. And again, those can be picked up from most of the major deluxe properties. It will either be included or very easily accessible. Surf is fantastic in Samoa. It's actually one of the best kept surf secrets in the South Pacific. A variety of waves. I'll let Kayleen talk about this, as Samoana is one of our really resident accommodation experts on surfing, as they are a surf resort as well. But surfing in Samoa, you get everything from barrels to just a variety of waves. But I will note that it is for medium to experienced surfers. It's not a learn to surf destination. It's really for those that really travel the world looking for the best waves. Also great to head out on a boat, whether it be power, sail, variety of boating options around the islands. But you can see the water is just spectacular, and it's also great to head out for a day of fishing as well. The island of Savaii has a few fishing operators, and you're catching some really big game fish as well. So it's quite spectacular fishing around the islands. It is quite shallow around the first part of the island where your clients are swimming and snorkeling, but as soon as you get to the outside of the reef, it does drop off and get quite deep, so you do get some excellent fish. The Tosua Ocean Trench is one of our most popularly photographed and visited sites in Samoa, and it's not hard to see why. The Tosua Ocean Trench is a 90-foot ocean trench just inland from the ocean itself, so it is tidal flow that comes in here, and you have a beautiful swimming area in there. It's extremely clear, great fish life, little fish swimming around down there, great for some photo opportunities as well. Lalumanu Beach is another very popular spot, and this is a great example of, I mentioned the reef sitting a bit farther offshore, and you can see it in this picture. So you have a nice calm swimming lagoon that's been naturally created, and then just outside of the reef you have a bit deeper water, good for sailing and boating, and I mentioned fishing as well. But Lalumanu Beach, not hard to see why, it's one of our most popular beaches. Beautiful white sand, great for relaxing for the day, and you can see some of the other outer islands, such as Samoa Island here. And this is a great place to go if you have clients that want a sea turtle experience. You do get quite a lot of turtle traffic out here. So it's just off Lalumanu Beach. It was one of those outer islands that you just saw. So clients can snorkel out to this island and hope to see a turtle in the wild, and there's a very good chance that they will. And the waters around these outer islands are absolutely spectacular. There are a number of islands clients can go sit on the beach, snorkel, and dive around, and the reason it's so good for the water sports out here is because the majority of them are going to be uninhabited, so you don't have any foot or flipper traffic, so it's really quite pristine. And then again, I mentioned fishing earlier, so you can actually see the Dive Savai'i boat in the background, and this is the fishing just off Leilangoto, just off that reef out there, is amazing. This is just off the beach here. You'll see quite a few fish swimming around just straight off the beach as well. So just sea life is really in abundance around the islands of Samoa. On the south coast of the island of Savai'i, if clients want to experience the ocean but maybe experience it on land, the blowholes are a great way to do this. Absolutely magnificent. The power of the ocean on this side of the island is really raw, and it comes through these lava fields and shoots out almost like a geyser effect in these blowholes. So it's a really spectacular experience, a really great way to spend the day. And then, of course, clients really can't go to Samoa without experiencing the culture. So this is one of our traditional dances here. And, of course, we're known for the fire knife dancing. It did originate in Samoa on the island of Opolu. So we're really proud of the heritage in Samoa, and this is a great example of it. Another thing I just want to leave you with is if clients are heading down to Samoa, you really keep it in mind for destination weddings and honeymoons as well. Not only is there, of course, fantastic things to do at sea, but beautiful beaches, a really lush, rugged interior. It's a great place to get away and have that destination wedding and honeymoon really wrapped into one. But with that, I'm going to pass it over to Kayleen, and she's going to talk to you about one of our premier properties, Samoana. And I have to say, I don't want to steal any of Kayleen's thunder, but it does absolutely have one of my favorite pools in all of Samoa, and you'll see why shortly. But with that, Kayleen, over to you.
Good morning. Thanks, Amanda. We love your recommendation on our beautiful infinity pool. So Samoana Resort, we're located on the south coast of Upolu Island. In regards to the airport, we're about a 40-minute drive east, or from the city, it's about a 40-minute drive as well. So it's a nice little nestled location on the south coast. We're situated in a coconut grove. If I just move to the next picture, I think the picture captures exactly what our setting is like. So it's in the village of Salomumu. And to access the resort, it's a quaint little drive off the main road. It's about a 10-minute drive along a sandy track that heads down from the main road down to the coastline that you can see right there in that picture. And it's in a very little secluded touch of paradise. As you can see, there's no neighbours. It's a private beach just for us and our guests. And you've got all that beautiful reef right in front of the resort. Talking about the reef, snorkeling. It's all right there at our doorstep. We're protected by that beautiful lava rock wall. The reef comes right up to our beachfront. You can see in that picture there's a little bit of a little rock pool as well. So there's a little blowhole and a couple of little rock pools within that lava area. And even just standing on top of the rock, you can look down into it. It's like an aquarium, so you can see some of the tropical fish and things that are happening just from the safety of the rock. In the reef area, some of the different fish we've got a few of the clownfish, angelfish, beautiful blue starfish. I love seeing those ones. A bit of soft and the hard coral. So we've got snorkel gear accessible here to our guests. It is all complimentary, part of the guest stay. And the snorkeling stretches for either direction. So you can go for a nice long swim. I tend to use it as an exercise thing and just go for a long morning swim. But I just get to, instead of looking at a black line, I get to look at the beautiful coral and the fish all underneath. Moving along, we've got our couple of examples of some of the coral. These were taken just directly out the front of our resort only a couple of months ago. So it just gives a little bit of example of some of the fish and the life that we have out the front there. The infinity pool that Amanda was talking about, it is set within the lava rock wall, so it's nestled in there. It's complete natural seawater. It just recycles through from the ocean, no chemicals. It's just spectacular. So the water temperature is a gorgeous warm temperature all the time. In regards to the little lip wall there, you can see on the infinity, it's a nice spot just to rest. Put your arms folded up on there, lay on the pool, and again you can look down into the reef that's below you and just watch the little aquarium of the fish and the coral and what's happening as passing by. As we've got the reef out the front of the resort and the beautiful reef wall, it gives us a lot more protection, which is fantastic for kayaking. We've got single kayaks, double kayaks. These are all complimentary for our guests during their stay, and depending on how adventurous they are, they can paddle right up to the east coast, or they can just go on a short little paddle just out in the front of the resort. Being a clear day, again, you can just view the coral and the fish while sitting in your kayak. Here at Samoa, we do host a culture day once a week. So our team, or our staff, should I say, are all from the village of Salamumu. So they love sharing their culture. They've initiated starting that from breakfast in the morning. We still have, yes, our traditional tropical breakfast, but they've brought in an influence of Samoan breakfast. Through to lunch, we access fish that the local village have caught from out the front area here of the village. And then we move through to dinner, where you can actually spend time with our staff. So a couple of the photos here, the bottom left-hand one, is our team preparing for the Fia, which is held on the night, which is tonight, being Thursday. So they're starting to prep now as we speak. So you can sit with them. Our guests can come, share, see them make coconut cream, see how they prepare the dinner, prepare the pig, create the umu, so getting all the rocks hot, and then coming back to actually putting all the food into the umu, and then unveiling it all ready for eating that night at our beautiful Fia night. So we host 2 youth groups here in the village, and we alternate with them in regards to which one does each week of the Fia. So we love supporting the village, and they absolutely love sharing their culture. So between their dance, their singing, their fire knife dancing, it's a beautiful display that they really like to connect with our guests and share as much as they can. They recognise that our resort is set in their village, and they really appreciate guests coming and wanting to learn more and know more about their culture. One of our other activities here at the resort is surfing. So it's one of our main water activities. In regards to what we offer, we've got 2 single-hull boats, a 24-foot and a 28-foot. We have a local Samoan guide along with an Australian guide, and they both go out with all of our guests daily on these trips. They're dedicated to finding the best break of the day. There's around 10 or more options to choose from of the reef breaks accessible around here, so we're really lucky with our choice and our options there. There are 3 paddle out breaks by the resort. They are tide dependent, so if you're a surfer, definitely different options in regards to the surfing world. As Amanda said earlier, it's not for the beginners, definitely for immediate advanced surfers and even the bodyboarders. There can be some challenging reef breaks out there, and it's certainly not a soft landing if they don't go well. Predominantly, the waves are left-handers. There are some right-hand options, and really the description, it's super fun waves to world-class barrels that can be found here with the surfing in Samoa. With where our boats are moored in this particular picture, it's a beautiful lagoon area, so from the start, as you're heading out from the lagoon out to the reef, there's beautiful turtles swimming around all the time in that section. If perchance one of the team one of your guests are a surfer and the other one is more into snorkeling or just sightseeing, where they anchor up or moor at the actual reefs, it's some stunning snorkeling. So although it can be a surf trip on the boats, snorkeling is also fantastic. So just a couple of pictures here of a couple of the breaks. So it's suitable. We have the ladies come, we have kids come that are very experienced with their parents in the surfing. We get a lot of mates, we get a lot of couples where one of them might be the surfer, and as just mentioned, they do like to go out with their partner and they can just experience the scenic trip or some snorkeling whilst their partner is surfing. In regards to land tours, of course, I think all properties offer the land tours to the beautiful Tosua Ocean Trench, Polar Cave Pool, Sliding Rock, all the spots here on island. All of them are accessible, whether it's for families, couples, if they're all set in beautiful locations and scenery. We do have the elderly that come and may not be able to go down the ladder, but it is such a beautiful garden setting here at Tosua Ocean Trench that they certainly have a spectacular time. In regards to Sliding Rock, it's an adventure, and there's some beautiful rock pools. So with the kids, if they're wanting to go down sliding, or the adults, or if they really just want to relax in the rock pools, it's a stunning location, beautiful gardens, beautiful setting for that one. So moving along to the actual resort in regards to Samoa. Okay, so this particular picture, this is our main bungalow. So the front deck area is our restaurant, so that's where we serve breakfast, lunch and dinner. The upstairs windows you can see is our sports bar. Up there we've got a pool table, darts board. Guests can dine up there if they'd like to, and looking out those windows looks straight over at the reef in the front. We've got 7 different accommodation. So of the bungalows, we've got 1 alofa, 1 of our pool view. We have 2 frangipani, 2 family bungalows, and we have our brand new beach house. So the beach house sleeps 3 bedrooms, can sleep up to 8 to 10 people, and it's got its own little private access to a beach, beautiful deck. It's like being over the water. It's not an overwater area, but you couldn't be any closer to the beachfront for the beach house we just opened. So the other accommodations can sleep up 2 people. We can accommodate 3 people, 4 people. The family bungalows accommodate 6. Or as mentioned, the 8 to 10 to the beach house. So vary between whether it's couples, family groups. We accommodate all styles of bedding that way. Yeah, we were just recently booked out. We had a whole family. It was Grandma's 80th, and they booked out the entire resort, which was a really nice celebration time. All of our bungalows have the beautiful outdoor lava rock bathroom. So just an example there for you. With the accommodation, it does include tropical breakfast each morning, the snorkel gear, kayaks. There are complimentary cool drinks in the fridge on arrival, and then we have water daily replaced for each guest. So with Samoa, we welcome all guests, so whether it's honeymooners, couples, surfers, whether it's groups of friends or families. Basically, if your clients like our unique property and our setting appeals to your clients, we'd be delighted to host them and have them as our guests. I'll pass it back to you. Thanks, Amanda.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Kayleen. And what she didn't tell you is her view at the moment is actually looking out of her bedroom into this beautiful setting and onto the beach. So if anyone's in authority on exactly what's happening in Samoa today, Kayleen's the one. So thanks so much, Kayleen.
Thank you.
With that, we're going to move on to Dive Savai'i. Now, unfortunately, Olaf was unable to connect. Happy to jump in and take you through exactly what they can offer your clients. They are the sole dive operator on the island of Savai'i. So that is going to be the main who your clients would go with when they head out, and they are absolutely fantastic. So just to jump straight right in, we talked about how to get to Samoa. So then to get across to Savai'i, there is a 1-hour ferry ride. So from the airport itself, it's a very short journey to the ferry terminal, or from the airport. Once they're at the ferry, I recommend booking your clients on business class. There are two reasons for this. One is the business class ferry is a slightly larger boat, so it's a bit more of a comfortable crossing. And the second reason being is that business class is indoors, so it's air conditioned and light refreshments are served as well. So I definitely recommend business class. But Samoa really is a year-round destination. You're looking at about usually 80 degrees year-round, and the water being in, really, it's like getting in a bathtub. It's absolutely spectacular, especially in Savaii. You are looking at about 80 degrees as well, 70 to 80 degrees for water, and then 80 to 90 for outside in the air. So it's spectacular conditions for diving and getting into the water. Now, Dive Savaii itself, it is located right on the north tip of Savaii, so almost straight in the center of the top of the island. I did mention it's just across the road from Leilongoto. It's literally just across the road from the main entrance, so it's very easily accessible. They have been open for about 10 years. They opened in 2005, and they are recognized by PADI as one of their 5-star dive centers. They do have daily tours that head out, with the exception of Sunday. Now, Dive Savaii is closed on Sunday for all tours, and that's in respect for Sunday in the Samoan culture for church and family time. For clients that are not PADI certified already or dive certified, they can do classes with Dive Savaii and get their open water certification while they're there. When you do have clients heading down, they do request that you pre-book any dive tours that they want to do, as most tours do leave in the morning, so they want to make sure your clients are guaranteed a spot on the trip out. So this is the view from Leilongoto. This is the property I mentioned, and this is where you're going to be diving straight off, right in this beautiful open water area here. So getting ready to head out, this is the view. So the water is extremely clear. It almost feels like you're diving just from the shore. But once you head out into the lagoon, you're going to gear up with your team, find your dive buddy, and get going out into the waters. So as I mentioned, it is for divers of all levels as long as they are certified. If not, there are diving courses available. And there's also guided snorkeling trips. So if you have clients that really want to get out and experience this part of Samoa, which I do highly recommend because it is spectacular diving and snorkeling out here, they do have guided snorkeling trips and snorkel rentals as well. So they can actually rent their snorkeling gear if they're staying at the resort and just take it across the road. So it's very easy. This is the boat that your clients would be heading out on. It's anchored just off the main shore off of Leilongoto, as you saw in one of the introduction pictures. But this is where they'll be heading out to the dive resorts around the island. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee a rainbow every time, but it's always a nice touch when it happens. So it is a short ride out to the majority of the scuba and snorkel spots. There's also shore diving, but it's extremely calm waters on this part around the island as well. And the marine life is spectacular. There's hundreds of species of both fish and coral to be found in Samoa. And all of the dive masters and instructors that go out are highly experienced and qualified. So safety is really a high priority for them. And there is snacks and your water provided when clients are heading out for the dive. Just a couple images of what you're going to see. So there is a wreck off the coast, which is really popular for those wanting to dive. Trips out are going to be small groups, so it is a maximum of 6 guests plus the guide. So you have just enough for essentially 3 couples or buddy groups. And it is 2 tanks, so you generally are able to go down a couple of times in the dive. And there is a wide range of equipment available to make sure that your clients are really getting what's fitting them best in terms of masks and all their other equipment as well. So this is the wreck I mentioned. There is another wreck out in Samoa as well that's a bit older, but this is a really popular one here. The wreck here was 1948, and it's a great place to spot sea turtles. So a couple different species of turtle, both green and hawksbill turtles, and it's really ideal for those clients that are into underwater photography as well. These are one of the snorkeling trips. Again, you're still staying in relatively smaller groups, and there's a lot of ocean to share, so you're able to really get a full experience while you're out as well. So up to 20 guests can do it, and it generally takes about 3 to 4 hours for the full tour, both leaving and returning to the beach. It does include swim aids, safety equipment, all of that. And there are 3 different snorkeling sites that clients can visit. If you do have a larger group traveling down, whether it be a larger family or an event happening, or just a larger kind of escorted type group, or even a cruise group that decides to extend, there are group tours available. So if you pre-book that, the group can go travel out together on a snorkeling trip, and that will include their gear hire and all of that. And again, there's a great chance to spot turtle around the island of Savaii, and the expert guides are provided for all of it. But here's just a couple of fantastic things that your clients can see while they're exploring the waters around the island. Sea turtles are mentioned multiple times. It really is quite a plethora of them out here. It's a great place to see them in their natural habitat. Mention a few of the wrecks out here. Great reefs to dive as well. Some marine life. There's an eel here. Fantastic fish life in Samoa as well. The reef is full of colorful marine and reef fish, and just so many different things to see, from sponges to anemones to just cucumbers, just a complete variety of marine life. So everywhere your clients are looking, they're really seeing something colorful, photogenic, and just really exciting. We heard from Kayleen earlier with Samoana, so that really is a fantastic property, especially for clients that really want to spend time in the water, whether it be surf, whether it be snorkeling, kayaking, swimming, you name it. They're a fantastic property that can really cater to that type of clientele. A few other properties just to keep in mind. All 3 of these are located on the island of Upolu, and each of these is a larger style property, multiple room types, accommodation. Sheraton is our one big international brand, and they took over the Aggie Grays property. And then just a couple other properties here. Tanoa Tusitala is located right in the town capital, or the capital of Apia. Seabreeze is just down on the south coast. Anga Reef is down by Lalumanu Beach. Leilangotso, that's the property we just mentioned that's across from Dive Savaii. Levasa is near the ferry wharf on Upolu. And Amoa Resort, previously you may have known it as Siufanga. It's now going to be Amoa Resort, and they're located on the north coast of Savaii as well. These are really our premier properties here. This is actually one of the outer islands. I actually just visited this recently, and the snorkeling off this island is incredible. That's the little boat you come over on. The island in the background is Manono Island. And it's an uninhabited island, so there's just one little folly to sit and have a picnic on, and a beach and just reef everywhere. And this is what Samoa is all about, really getting out and experiencing this absolute crystal clear water and the lagoons as well. But with that, I'd like to open it up to anyone with questions. As I mentioned, you can enter them into the chat box, and we'll be happy to answer those for you now. So one question is whether the webinar will be recorded for you to share. Absolutely. So this session was recorded, and I will follow up with a URL for that, and feel free to share it with any other agents in the office that are interested in Samoa, or even clients that are interested in heading down. If they want to look at what there is to do and experience in Samoa, please feel free to share it with them. One other question is on the contact information, so I'll just pop to the next slide quickly here. While I'm answering your question, so I'll leave these contact details up. These are the contact details for myself, for Kayleen, and for Olaf. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email each of us directly, or I'm happy to answer any general questions on the destination. That's not a problem. And I'll make sure when I follow up with the recorded webinar link, that I include all of our contact details as well. Did we have any other questions coming through? Oh, here we go. So in regards to tour operators that can combine air and hotel, absolutely. So we have a couple inbound operators in Samoa, our 2 biggest being Samoa Scenic, and they can assist with hotel bookings, land arrangements, transfers, ferries, you name it. And the other big company is called Polynesian Explorer, and Explorer is spelled just with an X, no E at the front. Those are our two main inbound operators in Samoa. There are a few others as well, depending on what your needs are. So I'm happy to have any of you do have questions about that, I'm happy to answer those as well. It looks like that's all the questions we have for today's webinar. I'd like to say a big thank you to Kayleen for waking up early in Samoa to join us today. Enjoy your Thursday, Kayleen, and your Fia night this evening. And thank you for everyone else today who logged in to join us. As I mentioned, I will follow up with some information both on Dive Savai'i and Samoana, as well as all our contact details and the recorded webinar link. Thank you very much, and everyone enjoy your Wednesday.